We're in Spain for the launch of the new V-STROM series. Today we've been testing the 650 completely on tarmac only. And they've made a few little updates to the bike this year. There's new color schemes. The design is designed to look more like the V-STROM 1000. There's little tweaks to the screen, and the engine makes a little bit more power. It's Euro 4 compliant now. The ergonomics where you sit down are a little bit slimmer than they were. But all in, it's kind of a pretty similar bike to what it was in the past. If you didn't ride them back to back, I don't think you'd notice much of a difference unless you're a V-STROM owner. But that's not a bad thing. That's not a bad thing at all. We've had some incredible roads to ride over the course of today. Just endless twisty tarmac, and V-STROM has kind of outdone itself really. It's been a really incredible day's riding. As a road bike, it handles much better than you expect it to. It's much more nimble than I expect. It's much more planted in the corner. It's just really confidence inspiring bike. It settles in on the road really well. It doesn't really do anything you don't want it to. Yeah, it never really sits up or wobbles. The suspension's really planted. And that makes it a really fun bike to ride. I think the suspension for me is actually a little bit of a highlight of the handling on the road. Generally, with a more budget bike like this, it wallows a lot. It's kind of awkward, and when you brake hard or when you are a little bit aggressive in the turn, the feature for a bike of this price point, it's got really basic suspension. It's not adjustable. It's preload only adjustable on the shock, but I don't really want to change anything on it. So yeah, for the kind of speed of the bike and what you want it to do, I think it's really fantastic. The engine on the V-STROM is obviously a V-twin, is a 650 twin. And it's a fantastic engine for this class. It's so smooth to ride that it makes riding on the road, especially in twisty corners, really easy, because it picks up out of the corner smoothly. It rolls on really well. When you shut the throttle, it doesn't really do anything you don't want it to either. And that's a really nice feature of this bike as well, especially compared to some of the other bikes in the class. I think the engine is a real standout. It's much quicker than I expected it to be. Much smoother than I expected it to be. The fuel injection's really well finished off. It rolls on well. It pulls really consistently all the way through the power curve as well. But it gets the job done really well. It's really easy to ride around car parks and so on as well. It kind of pulls itself along without having to use too much gas. So it makes kind of town life and maneuvering the bike in real world situations much easier than a lot of other road bikes. For 2017, the V-STROM has had traction control added to the electronics package as well. And it's a nice addition. It's not a necessary one, but what is really good is that the traction control works fantastically. It's got two modes, a kind of more intrusive mode and a less intrusive mode. For the most part, I rode it in the less intrusive mode 1, and I barely noticed it all day. Like it doesn't really kick in because you're riding on good tarmac with good road tires. But there were a couple of occasions where some of the back roads had a little bit of gravel, and then you can kind of force the traction control. It's super smooth. If you weren't looking at the traction light and listening for it, I don't think you'd even notice that traction control had happened. And that's a fantastic thing. And I think it bodes really well for if Suzuki do start to push into more off-road style bike as well, that they've got the technology there to do a really good job. The ergonomics, the riding position of the bike is really good. One of the other things they changed was the shape of the seat to kind of more match the 1000. So it's a bit narrower at the front, the bodywork's a bit narrower between your legs. And I really like the position that you're riding in all the time. It lets you get really far forwards on the bike. And it kind of doesn't make you feel like it's fat or hard to sit on. And I think if you're a little bit shorter person, that narrower profile is really going to help you out as well. There's a couple of things that other things that they've changed from the previous bike. The dash and clocks are completely different, and they're operated from a button on the controls on the handlebars. It's a really nice system. It's very simple. It does the job. The controls are nice. They're simple to use. There's no complicated faff to turn traction control off. As a whole package, the V-STROM's really surprised me today. I really enjoyed riding it. A little bit of that's helped by the fact that we're on awesome roads, and riding motorbikes is probably the best thing you can do on an awesome road. But it handles really well, and that makes it a fun bike to ride. It's not doing anything I don't want it to do, so it lets me ride to the potential of my own ability without kind of hampering me or kind of interfering with it in any way. And I think that's kind of what the V-STROM is all about, really. I think that's what Suzuki want from it. I think that's what people that buy V-STROMs like. And if you like V-STROMs and you're interested in buying a new one, it is a little bit, it's a V-STROM almost the same as they always have been, and they're really good bikes and they're really good value.